Hi, this is Barry Schwartz from the Search Engine Roundtable. This is the news we covered over the past week at the Search Engine Roundtable. This is July 9th. Today is Friday, July 9th, and we're live broadcasting over there, and the podcast is going over there. The archive podcast is going over there. So hopefully we get some questions from the audience as we're doing this. If not, we'll just go through this as fast as possible. The first thing I wanted to go through was our July 2010 Google Webmaster report. Basically, on July 5th, I posted what I do normally, a recap of what's going on in the past month or so at Google, and I posted that over at the Search Engine Roundtable. You can check it out July 5th at searchroundtable.com. The biggest things that people are talking about pretty much are the caffeine that is fully live, different PageRank updates that happened this past month, the Mayday tweak still, and there's some miscellaneous stuff. So if you want to learn more about that, I'm not going to go through the whole thing because I could talk about that for probably about 2 hours. Take a look at that on July 5th at saroundtable.com. Biggest related SEO news outside of Google was that Yahoo's algorithm has totally been shifted. Something happened. It's not necessarily Bing, because obviously we know Bing is going to be powering Yahoo, and we think Bing is going to start testing, or Yahoo is going to start testing Bing-powered results. But if you look at the results, it's not Bing. It's not usually when Bing starts powering Yahoo, the Bing results will match the Yahoo results. So what we're seeing actually here is that the results have totally dramatically changed at Yahoo. You do a search at Yahoo, what they were a week ago, and we're not sure why or what's going on exactly. So basically, if you notice any changing or ranking changes or traffic changes from Yahoo, some people are happy with them, some people are very unhappy with them. You should definitely take a look at July 4th at seroundtable.com, see if there's ways you can actually change things, but we're not exactly sure what's going on. Nobody from Yahoo actually replied or anything like that. Again, July 4th at seroundtable.com. This is pretty interesting. Last week, I think it was last week, Google banned themselves because they were cloaking. So Google banned themselves because they were cloaking, and sorry about that. And basically, they banned the AdWords help forum. So AdWords, if you went there on July 1st, you noticed that if you clicked on the cache link on Google, it was actually showing a lot more links, a lot more content than what you saw if you actually went to the page as yourself. Google, for some reason, I don't think it was intentional, they were cloaking the page out, and it was showing more content to the search bot than it was to a user. So Google, we notified Google about this. They actually delisted their page from the search results, and the AdWords help forum was no longer coming up if you did a search for AdWords help in Google. Danny Sullivan then did a post later on asking why did Google ban the other help pages, because it wasn't just the AdWords pages, it was all the Google help documents. But Google basically explained that when they did a fix, they did the fix, and then they looked at the Google Webmaster team looked at the other help pages after the fix was applied. So since when they looked, there wasn't cloaking, they did not ban the other pages, but they did ban AdWords. I personally don't think they should have banned everything, but they did. I don't think they should have banned it for two reasons. One is Google had no intention of manipulating their own search results. Obviously, Google doesn't care about intention in this case. And two, the second reason is basically because now it's making it very hard for people to actually find help about their AdWords products. So what's happening is people are searching for AdWords help in Google. They're not finding it. They're going to the AdWords help forum. And now people in the AdWords help forum, the top helpers, are having problems actually finding help documents to reference people to. So I showed an example of how this is actually hurting people. And if you want to learn more, July 9th at seroundtable.com. The whole thing is pretty comical. Again, I don't think Google should have banned themselves, but obviously they have to be strict with themselves and they're strict with everybody else. A little Google thing. So ATL Drew talking about the Yahoo weather report. The last one's on the 4/29. Yeah, and there was nothing new since then. You're right. All right, back to so now if you actually do a search on certain types of keywords, Google's showing little play icons in the search results. Google's showing little play icons in the search results. Let me show you how it looks. So now you can see my screen a little bit. As you see over here, the little play icons. Basically, if you do a search for, let's say for example, how to hack a wireless network, you see these little play icons, little ones, not big ones, but little ones, similar to the ones they use for Google Music search. And this is showing up more and more, which is basically Google pushing more and more videos into the search results. Another thing that we noticed was Google's dropping support for a single usage of the double quote search. So basically, if you want to do an exact phrase match search in Google web search, you wrapped it around quotes. You could have just put a quote in the front of the phrase, and Google would then assume that you meant to end the quote at the end. Now Google's no longer doing that. So now if you want to do exact phrase match in Google, you have to start and end the phrase with a quote on each side. In the past, all you had to do was start the phrase with a quote, and Google would assume the last word ended with a quote. So that's something new. July 5th at sreentellme.com. Something you should know as an SEO. What else we got here? Google is serving, this is pretty interesting. So if you do a search, if you've done a search in Google with anything with a hash, so for example, you do a search for C#, which is basically C hashtag, or the pound sign, it seems to be fixed. So basically what happens now is, if you do a search and you click on, if you click on a result, Google would send you through a redirect notice. Now that's no longer happening, but it was basically a bug where if any search result had a hashtag in it, Google will send you through a redirect. Are you sure you want to go through to this page? Notice. And obviously that might have been an issue for SEOs who have very good rankings for keywords with hashtags. There are hash results in it, hash pound signs in it, and Google has fixed the bug. We don't know why it happened or what happened, but Google fixed it, and it's no longer happening. I should have some pictures of it at SEOroundtable.com on July 8th. But it seems to be fixed and resolved as of today. I ran a poll this week asking, would you buy a link from TextLink Ads or from another broker? TextLink Ads is probably the largest TextLink broker where you buy links to hopefully. K-Mullet asked if people are actually losing search results or their rankings because of this hashtag bug. No. All it did was serve up a redirect. If you click on the search result, it says, are you sure you want to go through it? Again, click on the link, you'll see more information about how that worked. So basically, I ran a poll this week, and I'm hoping everybody in the chat room could take it. It's basically on July 6th at SEOroundtable.com, asking, would you buy a link from TextLink Ads or from another type of broker that sells text links at a mass level? Currently, the results, we have about 300 responses. About 50% said yes, they would buy it to benefit the site. 4% said they would only buy it to hurt competitors, and 45% said they would not buy a link from TextLink Ads. I'll publish these results later on, but if you could definitely take a look and take this poll, July 6th at SEOroundtable.com, I'd love to get more responses than just 300. About 3 months ago, we did a report, or 2 months ago, we did a report about an AdSense publisher whose account was hacked into by an Indian person, and he lost $25,000, which went directly to the person who hacked into the account. So basically, a person from India hacked into the account, changed the bank information, changed the login information and email address, so he can't get back into his account. And there was $25,000 or so that he makes per month. And it seems like this $25,000 plus is now going to this Indian person's bank account. We wrote about it 2 months ago. AdSense advisor at the Webmaster World supposedly tried to reach out to this publisher, never did. The person still can't get into his account, still can't get his money. It's been 3 months since then. Supposedly other people at AdSense publishers are having this problem. And Google really has no solution for them. So I blogged about it again today, July 9th. If you want to take a look at that, definitely do. Maybe you have some connections that could help this guy. Hopefully that I blogged it will help a little bit. But supposedly this is a larger issue, and hopefully people will fix it. And hopefully Google will fix it. Another AdSense related topic is that people are using Google's DMCA policy. DMCA is basically Digital Millennium Copyright Act, and basically if you file a DMCA complaint with Google, Google will typically remove the ads from the page that is in violation of the DMCA policy. What is happening is people are issuing DMCA complaints about pages that are not violating copyright law, and it's pulling the ads off those competitor sites, and obviously not making them money. And then it takes about 2 or 3 weeks for for you to appeal it, and then Google to put the ads back. So it's a big process. It seems to be a pain. There seems to be no way to prevent somebody from faking these DMCA complaints. So we wrote about it on July 6th, and I don't know if it's happening to a lot of people, but it's definitely happening to some people. There's a new AdWords tab in Google, in AdWords. It's called the Dimensions tab. It's basically what's happening, and you've probably been noticing this more and more, is if you go into AdWords, Google's removed the reports section, and they're putting all the reporting engine right into the main campaign section. So now there's more and more tabs being added to the actual site. Here's a little picture of it for those who are watching. So you can see there's adding more and more tabs to this campaign's overview. Google Maps is now now testing, showing map results at the top right of the page. So here's a picture of it. People were doing a search for, let's say, forest. I personally don't see it. Usually you get the ad in the middle of the page over here. Not the ad, you get the maps in the middle of the page over here, in the middle of the page. But people are now noticing some of the maps are showing up in the top right corner above the AdWords ads. Again, this is something that's being tested by Google. I'm not sure if it's going to be live anytime soon, but people are definitely seeing it, and it's being tested. Something funny I noticed this week was that Google Maps, I was using Google Maps to do some research about some commercial real estate opportunities. So I was going down the road, Route 202 or so, and I noticed that at some point the actual map I was driving, it seemed like the camera on the car started to fall off. And I have some pictures of it. I also have a video of me going through it. So you can see I'm driving down the road. Everything looks fine, and then I start to drive forward, and the camera starts to tilt over. Google issued a statement that the car did not flip over. Everybody's okay, but sometimes things get loose and it has a tilt option, so maybe it tilted and had to be readjusted afterwards. But nobody was hurt, Google said. Anyway, that was pretty funny. The big news today, Google related, is the business news at least, was that Google has renewed their license in China to operate. This is a long story, but to make a long story short, I'll go through it quickly. In 2007, Google officially got their license to operate in China, meaning make money in China legally as a Chinese company. They did that on condition that they would censor the search results in Google China. So they've been doing that since 2009 or so, or maybe earlier 2010. And then Google was compromised in a security hack by the Chinese government looking for information about Chinese descendants. And Google was very upset by that when they learned that it was China. They said they're going to leave China. They never really left China. What they did was they actually started redirecting Google China to Google Hong Kong, when technically Google Hong Kong does not have to be censored. China did not like that, so they said, we're not going to, basically they implied they're not going to renew their license to operate in China unless they change that. Google then did some type of screen, which I talked about in the past weeks, where they put up this image of a search box on Google China, and if you click on it as you're clicking to type something into the search box, what happened was you actually clicked on an image, and then it directed you to Google Hong Kong. So it was basically a manual redirect, but people were thinking that they're actually typing in the search box. Either that trick worked and China fell for it, or China just really wants Google to operate there, and they both let it slide. So as of this morning, Google has renewed their license. I think it's renewed for 3 years or so, and they're allowed to continue to operate in China, even though Google wants to take a stand in China. That's the Chinese news. A few more things and we're done. No, the ATL at Drew asked if this means Google is still censoring its data. No, they're not. Basically, if you go to Google China, you cannot do a search in Google China. You have to go to Google Hong Kong to do a search. Google Hong Kong is not censored. I believe some people are still being blocked from Google in China from Google to Google, but that's another situation. We talked about the new Google News redesign, which happened a couple weeks ago. People hate it. A lot of people hate it. And I blogged about another case of how people are hating it on July 7th. I'm not going to go into that detail. I found this funny, and we're pretty much almost done. A few more minutes. And you guys can probably still see my screen. Google Blogoscope forum, I found a picture of what somebody felt the Google favorite icon was basically where the I don't know where the favorite icon came from, and Google basically somebody made a picture of a Google toilet. It's pretty funny if you take a look at that. July 7th at SERoundtable.com. It's pretty funny, and if you want to learn more about that, July 7th. Basically, Google's favorite icon was from January 2009. They changed it to blue. It came from blue in May 2008. Before that, it was colored. But it's actually pretty funny. This if you take a look at that, July 7th at SERoundtable.com. A couple more things. I had to post this. Basically, yesterday was video game day, and we posted a really cool theme at SE Roundtable of Zelda, and you have to take a look at that. July 8th at SERoundtable.com, a Zelda theme. On July 6th, Google had a special logo for Frida Kahlo. I can't even pronounce it. It was a worldwide thing. Basically, she was well-known as a well-known Mexican painter, and you can see the doodle on the screen over here. It was pretty nice to see. It was pretty funny, actually. People were going in the chat room, in the forums, saying, why is there a picture of a woman or a man dressed like a woman, or basically complaining, not knowing who the person is. Finally, this past week, Sunday was July 4th. All the search engines had various logos. Google's logo actually was animated and let you go through a thing which comprised not just July 4th theme, but also Rube Goldberg, who was his birthday, who was basically known for making objects in art. And basically it was pretty cool. It was an animated logo. It had a skyrocket and everything. It was very nice. Right, Rube Goldberg. Yahoo had an animated logo. Bing had a nice theme, so did Ask, Dogpile, and us as well. Anyway, so happy July 4th. Upcoming this week is, I'm not exactly sure, but anyway, that was pretty much this past week at the Search Engine Roundtable. Thanks for tuning in. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and this is the news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at SERoundtable.com over the past week. Today is Friday, July 9th, and thanks again, everybody, and we'll speak to you soon. Thanks.